And it just really scared me. I just was like, wow, maybe I have a little bit of an alcohol thing. So I sort of decided to punish myself and say, I'll do February as well. I'll do 2 months off. If I can do 2 months off, then I can prove to myself that I don't have a problem.
Tom Holland announces his non-alcoholic beer, Biro. So we're all familiar with Tom Holland. He's famous for playing Spider-Man and other roles. So yeah, he recently announced on Twitter that he had a big announcement coming up, and people were assuming he was going to be talking about Spider-Man 4. But instead, he announced that he was going to be releasing a beer called Biro with non-alcohol. So a lot of us were a little surprised. But then there's this clip that's been going around of how he's been struggling with alcohol addiction. So then it all makes sense. And we talked a lot about addiction last week because as you guys know, I felt like I've been addicted to THC. So I stopped using it a few weeks ago. So I actually feel fine now. Like I don't feel like I crave it at all. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what Tom Holland has to say. All right. Well, first of all, what does it say here? Biro is a premium non-alcoholic beer created by Tom Holland for those who never settle. We believe in being blah, blah, blah. We don't need to read all that. But yeah, the point is it's non-alcoholic beer.
I didn't one day wake up and say, I'm giving up drinking. I just, like many Brits, had a very, very boozy December. Christmas time, I was on vacation, I was drinking a lot. And I've always been able to drink a lot. I think I get my genes from my mum's side in that thing. Like I can drink. And I decided to just give up for January. I just wanted to do dry January. And all I could think about was having a drink. It's all I could think about. I was waking up thinking about it. I was checking the clock. When's it 12? And it just really scared me. I just was like, wow, maybe I have a little bit of an alcohol thing. So I sort of decided to punish myself and say, I'll do February as well. I'll do 2 months off. If I can do 2 months off, then I can prove to myself that I don't have a problem. 2 months go by and I was still really struggling. I felt like I couldn't be social. I felt like I couldn't go to the pub and have a lime soda. I couldn't go out for dinner. I was really, really struggling. And I started to really worry that maybe I had an alcohol problem. So I decided that I would wait until my birthday, which is June 1st. I said to myself, if I can do 6 months without alcohol, then I can prove to myself that I don't have a problem. And by the time I had got to June 1st, I was the happiest I've ever been in my life. I could sleep better in my life.
All right, I just want to say this is how I felt with THC. Like I felt like I was definitely overdoing it, like spending way too much money on it. Like I was probably spending like more than $400 a month on THC. And yeah, I'm totally with him on this. And I felt like, like to me, I was doing the exact same thing he's doing. Like I'm not trying to like give up THC forever. I was just like, okay, I'm just going to go a few months without using it. Cause I feel like I've been in a haze for years, and like, you know, I have some important things coming up, and I just need to be sharp with my mind. And so like I feel him on this. The one thing that's different from me than what he's talking about is he says that he thinks about alcohol all the time. Believe it or not, like I did at the beginning, but like I'm on week 3 right now, and I haven't really been thinking about smoking weed or anything. But the other thing is I have been really busy, so I've had other things, other things I've been thinking about. So I haven't had a chance to think about weed. But one thing I'll say is I feel like me and Tom are similar in that and I think a true alcohol addict will ruin their life over it. Whereas Tom stopped it very early on. Like he like realized very early on. And the same thing with me. Like I don't think weed was like destroying my life or anything. But I do feel like it was just slowing me down. And I feel like I'm at a critical point right now where I need to make some big moves in my life. Like I'm not getting any younger, and like just being high all the time was just gonna slow me down. So like I don't think it was impacting me negatively the same way alcohol probably was him. But at the same time, I lost my train of thought here. But yeah, let's keep going.
I could sleep better. I could handle problems better. Things that would go wrong on set that would normally set me off, I could take in my stride. I had so much such better mental clarity. I felt healthier. I felt fitter. And I just sort of said to myself, like, why am I enslaved to this drink? Why am I so obsessed by the idea of having this drink? And I would look back and recognize that I would go to events for work and be like, I can't enjoy myself until I've had a few beers. And I just felt so much pressure. And this is one of the things why I've sort of distanced myself from the rugby community, because so much of it is about how much can you drink? Let's get you as drunk as possible. And it's honestly been the best thing I've ever done. I'm a year and a half into it now. It doesn't even cross my mind. I've found amazing replacements that I think are fantastic. Ones that are also really healthy. I found this one beer that it's full of electrolytes and it's...
Okay, so this interview was before he announced Bureau, so he's like promoting a competitor right now. But I will say I agree with him about the feeling healthier thing. Like after quitting weed, I do feel clearer of mind. I am sleeping way better, which is weird because the whole reason I like started using THC was to fix my sleep, because I feel like I just don't get enough sleep, and it did the opposite. Like, what's funny is the things I was using weed for did the opposite of what I wanted, because I also like smoked weed to like help with anxiety, and I found out that it was actually just making me more anxious. Like I remember when I first started smoking, like I went with a friend and we went out to a restaurant, and I was so anxious I didn't even want to go in the restaurant. I was just like, okay, can we just get it to go? I really don't feel like going inside. And she's like, oh, what's wrong? Why don't you want to go in? And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And like this was when I first started smoking, and like she understood what was going on. Like I guess when you first start smoking, you get anxious, but it never went away. Like I always feel like more anxious when I smoke. Like if I'm smoking by myself, I feel fine, but like if I smoke and I have to do something, I get really bad anxiety about it. So that's another reason I stopped smoking. So like I agree with him 100% here. I definitely do feel better, to the point where like I don't like I'm like afraid to like to start smoking again. Only because I feel like I might get back into that addiction mindset where I'll just start doing it every day. Like I'm like an all or nothing kind of person. Like either I'm smoking a lot of weed, like I'm really bad at moderating things, you know?
You know, the carbohydrates in it are long-lasting energy. So like having a beer is now actually like a really healthy thing. I'm really lucky that all my friends are super supportive about it. I've never run into that scenario where my friends are like, oh, go on, just have a beer. Like you're fine. They've always sort of really supported me. And I don't want to be that person that's saying to people, you should get sober, you should get sober. If I could encourage someone to drink less, then that's great. But I don't want to start getting into the world of you need to stop drinking, because
I 100% agree with Tom on this. Like something I hate is when people decide to get to do something healthy. Like I have a friend that he went vegan, and then he like looks down on other people that aren't following his lifestyle, and that I can't stand. Like if you want to become vegan, go ahead, but don't start trying to convert other people to it. It's the same with religion. It's the same with, you know, quitting anything. Like even like, you know, quitting weed. Like I'm still okay with my friends smoking weed around me. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, how dare you, you know that's so bad for you. Like no, like do whatever works for you. Same same with anything. Like even like, you know, I've had friends that like have found Jesus, and that's all good for them. But then when they start talking like to me like, oh, you're living in sin, and you like that right there is just so off-putting. Like, dude, I'm happy for you, but like don't try to make everyone else feel bad. Same with this. I don't have an alcohol addiction. Like to me, I only drink like once or twice a year. So like I can handle alcohol just fine. So like if someone that does have an alcohol addiction starts trying to tell me like, oh, you know that's poison, like, dude, I'm fine. Like worry about yourself.
because it's not for me to say. I went on my own little journey. I'm really enjoying it. I'm delighted that my mum's has also given up. She's loving it. And it's been amazing. I can't believe the difference that I feel from not drinking.
Yeah.
I feel amazing.
All right, so this right here, I went on his website to see how much these beers cost. I'm not gonna lie, Tom is like overcharging people, like $15.98 for a 6-pack. I don't really buy beer that often, but is that really expensive to anyone else, or is it just me? Like $15, I feel like that would be the price of a 12-pack, and then it's $29.98 for a 12-pack. And like to me, I've always thought like, I don't know, I've never been like, I drink beer to like you know, very rarely, but like beer is like my alcohol of choice whenever I'm like going out with friends. Like I'll drink like a beer or two, and like I don't really like the taste of beer, so to me, non-alcoholic beer there just seems no point. It seems pointless to me. Like it'd be like having, I don't know. I guess like I said, this would work for someone that is an alcohol addict and like they just want the you know, the oral fixation of like drinking something, but it's not actually like, you know, alcohol, but it kind of like tricks the brain into thinking it's alcohol. Like it's like there's these vapes that are out that they have no nicotine in them. It's just you're just breathing in air, but it's just to help people get over like their vaping addiction. And it doesn't really do anything, but it just tricks your brain into thinking that you're vaping. All right, $45 for an 18 pack. That's just ridiculous. And then $55 for a 24 pack. All right, we have a lot in chat. Carol with a K. I'm still listening. I had to pick up my smoothie and flatbread from Tropical Smoothie. I actually got a smoothie the other day. I think it was from Smoothie King. Gabriel Tostes. Who's that? Is he Liam Payne? Oh, you use drugs? It's nice to stop, you know. Maybe restart your mind. Yeah, yeah, Gabriel. Here's the thing. I don't like calling THC drugs because to me, there's a difference between like a drug and like a natural plant. Like THC is just a plant that grows in the ground. To me, a drug is like nicotine, where it's like something that's made in a lab. Like it's a bunch of chemicals, it's a bunch of chemicals you make, you know, with like different hundreds of different substances, like for example, cocaine. You can't find cocaine out in the wilderness. You have to make it. Weed, you can find in the wilderness. So weed is like, it's no different than mushrooms or like, you know, those kind of like, and I guess drugs, they are drugs, but like, I just don't like the word drugs because it kind of like makes it sound like it's something that it's not. Carol with a K. Hi, Gabriel. It's Tom Holland. I don't agree with him making burro. I feel it pushes the wrong message and it's kind of like a drug addict becoming a dealer, getting high of the supply, or an alcoholic becoming a bartender. I think it's fair in this economy, I guess. Well, Carol with the K, it's non-alcoholic beer. So I kind of don't agree with that because like I said, it's like selling a vape with no chemicals in it. It's just air. So like it's the beer is really just gross flavored water. Like the actual component that makes it poison isn't in it. So like to me, I don't agree that it's like a drug dealer getting high off their own supply because it's non-alcoholic. Like you can't get high off of it. So if you're selling like an imitation of the drug, not the actual drug. That's the only difference I would say. All right, well, nice to have a new face in the chat.
Introducing the Late Night Show with your host Cuddy Bino. Live streamed every Sunday night at midnight. Search Cuddy Bino on YouTube to catch the first episode.